Hello, everybody. Um, I'm not on screen today because, in case you don't watch my Married at First Sight reviews, I'm dealing with some allergies right now. Um, yeah, I know it's that time of the year, and honestly, I think this time the pollen hit different. Maybe because I'm in the house most of the time. And the other day, I sat outside for a little while with my grandmother. And I think that was a really bad idea because that pollen just permeated. I wore a mask and everything, but that pollen just really permeated. Maybe it got in my eyes and my ears. I don't know. But last week, the end of this week, well, the end of last week has been torture. But I have gotten some medicine. What is this stuff called? Zy. I can't see it from here. Hold on. I got some Flonase because people told me to get some Flonase, and I got some Zizal, and that's starting to help me. And somebody else told me to get some Vicks shower tablets. So I'm starting to get a little better, but I still didn't want to be on camera because y'all, I look a mess. Eyes just running, they red. I just feel so puffy in the face, but I'll be back maybe next week, hopefully. Y'all just pray for me. But hey, Tara, hey, Fedora. I do want to know how y'all feel about this episode. We finally got Troy out of here. I feel like Troy should have been one of the first people gone, but at least he's gone now. Um, David and Troy were in the final two. And I think what I'm going to do, I'm just going to go through the whole episode the way I did last time. And, we'll go from there. At the end, we'll get your final thoughts. You wanted more? It does seem like they're not really giving that much this episode. It wasn't the worst episode. I think it wasn't the worst to me because they finally got rid of Troy. But you're right. It probably could have been a little more. We didn't really get to see too much from Tressa and Diedrich this episode. I thought we would get to see them go on a date or something. Um, Troy showed us that he definitely assaulted women before a child. I mean, I don't want to put that on nobody, but just the way his reasoning for certain things, it was a little concerning. There was more commercials than show. Well, see, I either watch it online or I watch it, on my DVR. And so I fast forward through all that. I didn't even realize this show is so good we want it to be longer. You think that's what it is? Okay, let me go ahead. I'm just gonna go through the episode real quick. Um So at the beginning, Tommy meets with the women and he says that the women basically, dig deeper, and it was just it's almost like he was alluding to like snoop through their things. Like when you go there, you just make sure you dig deeper. Um, but I do think it's important to dig and kind of see where people's past lies and what they've done in the past, what they've experienced in the past, because that does shape who they are. And you don't want to let somebody like Chris get through. Chris is from Married at First Sight, in case y'all don't know. Y'all don't want to let a Chris get through. So yes, we do want to do background checks and all that and make sure that we're not getting like a psychotic narcissist through. So the first date was Joel and Verneesha, and they seem to have a really cute connection. They both have kids, and I think that Verneesha is really attracted to him because, you know, he seems like the type to want to have a blended family and would care about her children as well as his own. And yeah, she just really seems to really be feeling him, but I don't know if I don't think he doesn't like her or isn't attracted to her, but I don't know if he's like as interested, if that makes sense, because she kept talking about how much she feels the connection, but he wasn't necessarily saying that same thing. So I don't know. Maybe it was just me, maybe it was editing, I don't know. Then we have Alexis and Troy. And so she called Troy out for, spitting the same game. Like, he was spitting the same game to all the women, telling them that he wanted to take them on a trip, giving all the women kisses. I mean, and just really trying too hard to be slick. Like, he didn't really even have to do all that. He had women that were attracted to him, or maybe if he would have just done that to like one or two people, he might have gotten away with it. But he was trying to do it to everybody, and women are not, they don't like players. So she called him out, and he was just like, oh no, I wasn't doing none of that, I wasn't doing none of that, that's not even me, I don't even do nothing like that. And she was not falling for it. Okay. I was happy somebody called him out, because he needed to be, he had turned Amber all the way off. She wasn't even like trying to even have a conversation at all. Miss Fly ain't fly at all. The fashions aren't giving. Oh Lord, everybody keeps talking about her fashions, child. The craziest part is, y'all, I haven't even been paying attention. I need to go back and watch and look at some of the things she's been wearing, because I'm gonna be honest with y'all. When I'm watching this show, quote unquote, watching this show, I don't be paying attention as much as I probably should. I don't be paying attention to their outfits necessarily. I be paying attention to what they're saying out of their mouth. So maybe next episode I'm gonna pay attention to her outfits, because y'all made it clear. Because I went and looked at Twitter afterwards, and y'all made it clear that she cannot dress. And I'm like, oh my goodness, what am I missing? Yeah, Troy kept acting like he could not remember anything. Boy, get out of here. Bye. If he would have admitted to it and was like, you know what? I realized that was the wrong strategy and I should not have handled things that way, maybe he could have gotten a little bit of sympathy. It's giving very much City Trends model circa 2012. Oh my goodness. I like her boots. Her legs are just too skinny, but the boots are banging. Child, I need to rewind and see what she be having on, child. So then Chris and Amber go on a date, and Amber says she hates group dates because men are bad multitaskers, and she wants him to focus on her. And I totally agree with her. That's probably why I wouldn't do a show like this, because I don't like to try to like compete for attention, or he trying to get this one his attention and he come back to me. I really don't like doing all that. That's a little bit too much for me. But she got her one-on-one with Chris, and they have a cute little connection. um we found out this episode she was adopted, and she just found her sister, which I would love to hear more about that. Like, I'm always very intrigued by these sort of stories where people find their long lost sibling. And so I thought that was a beautiful thing. And he said that his father had 11 kids by 9 women. Child, like, I'm like, wow. Men sure do be spreading their seed, don't they? But anyway, also on this day, she revealed that she's a DA, and she doesn't like to tell people because she's scared of intimidating them. And I could see how she would want to, hold something like that back that could possibly be intimidating. But I also think that if you don't want a man that's intimidated by that. You want a man that can handle you being a DA from the beginning, because I don't know, just springing it on somebody. I just think you should be honest from the beginning, personally. But now we know Chris wants somebody to fight over him, and why? because that is probably what he saw growing up. That's a good point, Kimberly. That's a good point. I didn't even think that wouldn't even cross my mind. But you probably right about that. Your childhood shapes how you deal with relationships in the future. So I guess that's a good thing to know if somebody grew up with, their father having 11 kids by 9 different women, because I can only imagine the fights between the mothers of those children and him. So let's move on to David and Stacy. David wants to get married, and I feel like this was a catalyst to David possibly getting eliminated, like him being the final two. So he said he wants to get married and trust is very important. Okay. And so they start talking about passwords and, just being open with your partner. And she thinks it's a red flag for the partner to ask for passwords and have passwords to everything. And she said there's a difference between transparency, trust, and privacy. It's not secrecy. And she's just like, don't read my diary. And I'm just like, I'm glad y'all see what I'm seeing with Stacy, because this is the second time, girl, you have taken something that you don't like about a man that might be a deal breaker for you, and then brought it to the group like, oh, this is the next person we need to get rid of because I don't like him. You know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't like the way she brought it back to the group, and we'll get to it, but I don't feel like the conversation that he had was necessarily him being insecure. It's just something that he wants in because let's think about it like this. If you're married and you ask your spouse for, the password to this, like your Instagram or maybe your bank statements or something like that, and they're like being private, like, oh no, and they're trying to hide it, or they're turning their phone over, of course that's going to make you suspicious and make you feel like they're hiding something. So it's not necessarily that I want to look at your DMs every single day, but it's like, if I ask and you're private about that, that's going to make me suspicious of that you're hiding something. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to try my best to mod, but I have homework due in like 1 hour. Alexis, you better go do your homework. I'm not even going to be on here for that long. Stacy tried to pull a Naya. And she brought the conversation up in the first place. Right. Uh, Mina like Stacy. Stacy was a certified hater. David is too much. Nah, trust is trust. Okay, and honestly, it really is up to the person. If you don't want to deal with that from David, that's fine. But to like present it to the rest of the group like it's a deal breaker when there are people there that might not have a problem with it, like Liz didn't have a problem with it, especially if you're married. I just didn't like the way it was presented. I don't even think it's because she really wanted him gone. She saw both of the men she was interested in having different number ones. She had a public date while they went to the house. Okay. You think it could have been jealousy? Tracy tried to. I really do think Stacy was trying to get him sent home. Just by the way she presented it to the group. Like, yeah, I just said it. She presented that whole thing with Christian to the group the same way. And I'm just like, okay, just because you don't like him, that does not mean no one else in the group, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, there might be certain deal breakers for you personally in the group. Like, the whole situation with AJ and Liz in their conversation, and she wants to wait until marriage. Okay, she might not gel with AJ. Okay, and that's fine. They don't have to gel. There might be some other men in the group that might be okay with that, especially David. He said it that he wanted to save himself from marriage as well. So I feel like those two will vibe, but don't present it to the group like, oh well, we need to get rid of him because this is my deal breaker. Right? Like I'm like, when did Stacy become the stay all for the women? Right. I didn't see any chemistry between David and Stacy before that convo anyway. Me either. I thought she was liking AJ and some other people. I think Stacy is the type, if she doesn't want someone, she doesn't want anyone else to have him. Yeah, jealousy. I think after she heard them talk, she wanted him gone. She is playing games. Stacy used to be married to a ball player. I think she just likes to start drama like all her fellow basketball wives. Oh, I didn't know that. I haven't liked her since she said her son was turning down college to be with her. What? She said her son was turning down college to be with her? That's just kind of weird. Stacy was definitely salty when Liz was talking about her date with David. I don't know if it was the producers, but they kept showing her sending weird looks to Liz. Stacy thinks all men want her. I don't think she's used to rejection. That, you know what, y'all, that could be a part of it. That really, she could think just because she doesn't gel with one man, she feels insecure about that. I don't know. I don't know why she did that. Hey, ladies. Hey, Pinky. Y'all saved me from being trapped on a family trip with a bunch of kids. oh, LL. Well, we're happy to have you. We're happy to entertain you for the moment. Um, yes, her son didn't go to college to support Stacy after the. No, that's weird. I'm sorry. Let your son live his life. Ciao. Anyway, let me get through the rest of these dates. So let's see who was next. Um, Alexis and Jason. So she says she's a quality time person. And okay, on this date, she really likes Jason, but I just don't feel like Jason is feeling her the same way. Like she mentioned that she felt he was sitting too far away from her. And I think, girl, maybe that's a sign that maybe he's not feeling you like that. Cause, he didn't have a problem getting closer with, who was that? What's that girl's name that he was on a date with? I can't remember her name, y'all. Uh Kyra. He didn't have a problem being close with Kyra, but I feel like one, Alexis comes on too strong, and two, he might not just be feeling you like that. And you came on too strong in the beginning, and then he used the excuse of, well, I'm used to seeing her as the mother of one of the kids I coach, but I just think that's an excuse. If he liked her, that wouldn't even bother him. You know what I'm saying? And then she brought up her time of the month, and I'm just like, girl, I'm all about transparency. You know, I'm all about being transparent, but when y'all on the first couple of days, you need to leave something to the imagination. She just does a little bit too much. Jason wasn't feeling Miss Fly from the first mixer. Jason doesn't like Alexis because he sees her as a parent. I feel like that's an excuse. Because I feel like if Kyra was one of the parents from the mixer, he wouldn't have treated Kyra like that because he's interested in her. Jason be treating her like Sticky does Dejanay. I feel like he tries to be as polite as possible, but yeah, he just doesn't like her because if that was Beyonce, he wouldn't care. And if he was interested, he would have talked to her at the game. I respect him for keeping it professional. I'm sure he's had bad experiences dating the moms of the kids he coaches. No, possibly, but I really do just think it's an excuse. Be transparent when you're monogamous and defined as dating. Agreed, Alexis. I totally agree with that. And I already talked about AJ and Liz. I feel like as soon as she said she's abstinent, that AJ was over it, and that's fine. If he doesn't want to do that, that's cool. I think she should be with David because they're on the same page with that. And I feel like you have to be on the same page, because one person is going to be trying to you know persuade the other the entire time. If y'all are not on the page with that, one person will always try to persuade the other one, and the other person will just not be satisfied. So I don't blame her for that. I mean, I don't blame her for moving on. I don't blame him for moving on. So then we have Ron and Chrysanthemum. They seem to really gel with one another. I think they're both physically attracted to one another. And the more they talk to each other, the more they seem like they gel with one another. She wants a man to lead, provide, and protect, and basically the traditional gender roles of a man and woman relationship. And he, I didn't understand what he was really saying. Was he saying that he just wants her to need him? Like, what was he saying? He wanted her to. I just didn't get what he was saying. I was confused. That's why I put a bunch of question marks in my notes, because I didn't get it. But he basically told her that she was in his top. Chrysanthemum and Ron do nothing for me. They are boring. I don't see it. Yeah, I mean, even though they were feeling each other, it was giving very superficial. They didn't seem to really go deep. And it was probably their first date, so they don't have to go too deep, but they just seemed to really be on the superficial tip. Like, she really liked the way he looked, and he really liked the way she looked, and so they were like flirting more than anything. Ron annoys me with his fake beard. Y'all think his beard is fake? Child, y'all know y'all be noticing everything. I'm gonna have to go back and just analyze everybody. Boring isn't inherently bad. No, especially if both people are boring and they don't mind their boring lifestyle. Child, I feel like I'm gonna have to find me somebody boring. I heard on another YouTube channel that Ron and Tressa are dating. Ooh, okay. This okay. I'm not mad at it. So let me move on to David and Liz. I want to talk about their date before I get to the end. So they both are church kids, which is good. I do feel like if you're in church, it's always good to find somebody that grew up in church the way you did, because they just understand. They understand better. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying you can't find somebody who, found God later in life. Nothing wrong with that. But when you find somebody that grew up in church the way you did, I mean, it just eliminates a lot of, they just understand you better. So he said he grew up real strict in church. And so when he went to college, he kind of wilded out. He left the church. And so ever since then, he came back and recommitted. And, you know, he's been committed ever since. So then they got into relationships, and she said she hasn't been in a committed relationship in 17 years. And child, I feel like I can relate, because it feels like it's been 17 years for me too. He feels like she's a safe space for him to be vulnerable. So he opened up about his past two marriages, and in his last marriage, the lady walked out. And personally, I would like to know why she walked out. I would like to know where David feels like his shortcomings were, and maybe they discussed those things and it was edited. I don't know, but I feel like that's something that Liz should ask him about. This was the episode to dig, so I feel like she maybe should have asked him a little bit more questions, like, what is the role that you played in it? Why do you feel that she walked out? Do you feel like there's something different you could have done to change the situation? There's some things that can be asked, but maybe she wants to save that for later. I don't know. But he wants somebody who's going to be there and not leave when it gets rough. So that's the way their date went. She really was enamored with him by the end of that day, and so was he. They seemed like they really, really really mesh with one another. Let me see what y'all are saying. It's super suspect. Let me see. I think y'all still talking about Ron. Fedora said it's boring. Like we need to match. So let's kick it. But there's no connection. They're just writing together. Liz and David should just go on and date off the show. I feel like if either one of them get eliminated, they're just gonna be with each other anyway. Praise the Lord, his mama got me tripping. The only thing that scares me about David is he's not over or healed from his past. You think so? I do think he's a little insecure from his past too. I'm not sure why David didn't understand the difference between privacy and secrecy. I really do think they got blown out of proportion. When he said it, that got taken out of context or whatever. I really believe him. David and Liz seem good on paper, but I didn't get any chemistry. David needs to go to therapy. He's still not over what happened in his last marriage. And y'all could be right. How long ago was his last marriage? That's another question I would have asked. Like, how long ago was your marriage? Because I don't want to be no rebound now. That's my worst nightmare, is to run into somebody and feel like, this could be the person, but I'm like a rebound. Because y'all, rebounds rarely work. They work for the moment because the person is trying to get over the other person, but I am not trying to be no rebound. My bad, y'all. But I still feel like they made the right decision of letting Troy go, because child, we don't need nobody spreading this C19. You can't be kissing on everybody. This is not the day and age for that. I like the name dropped Stacy. I like that he name dropped Stacy straight up when he was talking to Amber. Yeah. Because he knew where they came from. And personally, I just did not like it. Like I said in the beginning, I really feel like Stacy did not have to frame it the way she did. Like, just because you're not here for, when you get married, sharing passwords, that doesn't mean other people aren't. And that doesn't necessarily mean the person is insecure, because it could just be like, well, just to see if you would give it or not. You know what I'm saying? If you're really like not trying to let me see your phone, I might think you're trying to hide something. But then again, it could be insecurity because of what he went through in the past. So I could see either side. They got married in 9 months and divorced in a year later in 2019. So when was this show filmed? Troy definitely needs to go, or else Ready to Love would have caught a case or several cases. It's never time for all that kissing from Troy. I do agree with that, because Troy, you don't need to be kissing people. And then he was like, well, nobody had a problem with it. Women, this is the problem with men like Troy. Women, we never say things in situations like that, because we don't know what your reaction is going to be. We don't know if you're a fool. You might turn around and backhand slap me or beat me down because I turned down your advances. You know what I'm saying? There have been too many situations where women have, we have to placate men. We have to give out our number. We have to entertain conversations that we don't care to entertain. We have to, stroke your ego, because we don't know what your reaction will be if we actually turn you down. I think the show was filmed at the end of 2020 because last season was spring 2020. Okay. This might have been a little bit too soon. This might have been a little bit too soon for David. Because if he just got divorced in 2019, depending on if it was at the end of 2019, I don't know. I don't know. It might have been too soon. He said they looked like they thoroughly enjoyed it. Ugh. That is disgusting. Plus, being on the show, you don't want to come off as exactly. You don't want to come off as rude because men that'll give men. It don't take nothing for the men to pass this word around. She stuck up or she like this, and they'll be one to send you home. Men are just as chatty as women are. Troy can't read a room at all, and he lies terribly. I know. He can't even keep his lies straight. Just 1 year after being married, no therapy, and 2020 was. That is true too. Thank you for bringing up 2020 because 2020 was enough in itself to drive anybody crazy. And he had to be locked up in his house. He couldn't even get out and mingle with anybody. He was like forced to be stuck in his house to live in the misery of, what was his failed marriage. You never know. Like, I mean, shoot. That's some good points. That's some good points you brought up. I can't even argue with that. So maybe David is not ready. And so I really hope that Liz moving forward, I hope she is just be careful, ask more questions, and maybe they could take a break from one another. He could get some help and work on himself, and they could be a good match. You never know. He told Alexis that he doesn't kiss everyone, and production pettily played every scene that he kissed the women. I know, because he literally, you nasty. Why you kissing everybody? Don't you dare come over here and kiss me. First of all, don't kiss me at all, and we're not exclusive. I'm sorry. You do not need to be kissing me. I've been binge watching y'all don't judge me. I've been binge watching Flavor of Love, I Love New York, all those shows. I've been binge watching them because you know, I just wanted to watch them with adult eyes. And the fact that they would go behind each other, not only are y'all kissing Flavor Flav, because that's enough for me to be done with y'all right then and there. But y'all are going behind one another and kissing him. Like, that was just too much. There's no way I could kiss no man behind another woman. I just couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. I watched Charm School too. Child, all of them were acting. All of them were acting, including Flavor Flav. He was married. And I could so clearly see it. And I even watched an interview with what's the girl that played Heidi. I watched an interview with her and she was straight up acting. I actually give her props. She did a good job of creating a character and doing like improv because, we still remember Heidi to this day for being crazy. So, yeah, didn't nobody actually want Flav. Not even New York. New York did what needed to be done. She understood the assignment, okay? New York understood the assignment and she had the personality and she knew what to do to get these shows. And can I say that I'm mad at her? I'm not, because we still know her name to this day. We briefly touched on Verneesha and Joelle. What do y'all think about Verneesha and Joelle? Because I don't know, for some reason I feel like she's feeling him, but I don't want her to just be so invested in him that she doesn't give anybody else a chance. because I don't like, he seems to be mingling, and I don't want her to just focus all on Joelle. I want her to, like, mingle as well, because I don't know what the ending verdict is going to be for them. He had a ring on. I didn't even know, see, I didn't even pay attention to that. He had a ring on. How'd he be on Amazon Prime movies? She did say she be acting. I was like, what does she be acting in? Because I never saw her anything. But I guess if it's Amazon Prime movies, I wouldn't see those movies, so I wouldn't know. When she hid the dresses, I was crying. Right. Oh yeah, I told myself I was gonna watch The Bachelor. I was gonna watch The Bachelor with the Black Bachelor. But I just couldn't do it. Like, that show just seems so boring to me. It just seems like it's so boring, and I just can't. I watched what's that show called where they did on Lifetime, and they did a scripted version of the behind the scenes of a Bachelor like show. I forgot the name of that show, but I watched that show and it was good. If they did a show of behind the scenes of The Bachelor, I would watch that. But watching the actual show, it's too scripted and fake to me. Too phony. If they had characters on it like Hottie in New York and Pumpkin and stuff like that, maybe I would watch it. At least that's entertaining. Verneesha didn't come to play in that outfit. Okay, she showed in. She got a nice shape. I think they are vested in each other. They are clearly each other's number one. Okay. Verneesha and Joelle are cute, but it's too soon. We gotta wait and see. Verneesha should keep her options open. That's the way I feel. I really don't want her to just be, because she seems like she's 100% into him, and I just think he is still open, and she needs to still be open as well, like y'all said. I watched The Black Bachelor and you're not missing anything. I didn't think I would. He's so bland. See, I feel like The Bachelor sets the tone too. Because if the person looking for a partner is boring, I feel like the show is going to be boring. Like, because I mean, if you come in contact with somebody boring, that's just going to be two boring people talking to each other. And I'm just not, I can't. Um, Somebody, okay, Kimberly said Temptation Island. I've heard of the show, but I don't even know, like, what channel does that come on? I've never, yeah, Unreal is what I was talking about, Alexis. That's the show where it was a scripted show, and it was like behind the scenes of The Bachelor. And that show was so good because I feel like that is really what happens behind the scenes of these reality TV shows. You have these manipulative producers. That's why producers have to have a degree in psychology, because they manipulate the contestants on the show and tell them, ask this question, or this person said this about you, so you need to go confront her, or you need to do this if you want to stay on the show. They plant these seeds in the people's heads and tell them to do certain things, and so that the show can be more interesting. It's really sick when you think about it, because they manipulate these people, and they have them looking crazy on TV. But then again, you a grown person. Like, ain't nobody forcing you to drink. Ain't nobody forcing you to, be on this TV show. So, they do hold some responsibility, but your whole job is to manipulate people into, like, exposing their business and, humiliating themselves. So that is, like, on you as well as a producer. He didn't know he was the first Black Bachelor. How he didn't know that? Oh, you meant he didn't act like he was the first Black Bachelor. Whew. Okay, so let me see. Mm. I cannot. That is how all reality shows are. That's true. That's very true. I just think if you go on a reality TV show and you already know this is what I'm here for, you know what I'm saying? Like if you go on to Love and Hip Hop, you already know what it is. If you go on, I think back in the day, you could say that you didn't know reality TV is the way it is. But I think these days, if you go on a reality TV show, I'm going to hold you a little bit more responsible because you know what you should know. If you don't, then you should have done your research. But these days on TV shows, like you know what you're doing, you know what you're getting yourself into. He ended up choosing a white girl with a racist past. What? See, I knew there was something that wasn't right about him in the beginning when he said, well, I just don't want people to judge me because if I choose a white person, it's like, girl, shut up. If you're gonna choose a white girl, choose a white girl. Like, I, don't sit up here because you know that some people are gonna have something to say about it. Stand in your decision as a man. Like, don't sit up here and make excuses for it. You know you like white women. You know you probably only like white women. So I mean, just stand in it. I don't want to hear your excuses or you whining about anything else. I don't want to hear it. I hate when people get on, well, I like white women because who cares why? Who cares? We know why. And he's mixed, right? His mama's white. That doesn't surprise me that he would pick a white woman. Look, I think sometimes we have to understand too. If a person is mixed, it don't even matter if they look black. If they mama white, a lot of times they're gonna choose a white person. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. But for him to choose one that is racist, that is very questionable. That is what's the most questionable about it, because that means you gel with her. What about, why are you gelling with her so well? She chose her because she is his beard. What? What? He's out of the closet? Child, I cannot. Is he truly out of the closet? Or y'all just think he gay? I don't know. I just all I know is I'm not interested in The Bachelor with or without a black person. Unless they have an all black version with people that um have dated black people their whole life, then I don't want to see it. His brother is so different from him, just like Ryan and his brother Chad. You know what? And see, okay. That's when I'm like, okay, well, what where did you grow up? I mean, where did y'all grow up for y'all to be so different? Because if y'all grew up around white people, I don't know. Let me not try to analyze because I that's probably something I'll never understand. Me too, Pinky. I want to see black love on my screen. That's why I feel like they should do, like, I feel like BET really is like losing because they don't do the black versions of white TV shows. Like, and some people might see it as copying, like, oh, why don't you come up with something original? No, that's the whole point of BET, so we can have our black shows that we can be interested in. We should have a black bachelor. It doesn't have to be like Flavor of Love. It doesn't have to be raunchy. It could just be a black version with black people. We deserve that. White people have that. Why don't we get to have the black version of The Bachelor? Why don't we have the black version of The Challenge where they can do different challenges and win money at the end? Because black people, we're very skilled. Like, black people like are known for being skilled physically, And so doing different things that challenge them physically as well as mentally, I would love to see something like that, and then have a champion at the end and win some money. What's something else? Maybe even a black survivor. I mean, I don't know if you could find too many black people that would want to participate in a black survivor. But you know what I mean? Just like give us the black version of these shows, because I'm gonna tell you right now, I don't watch a lot of these shows because there's not a lot of black people on it. Oh, do a black version of Big Brother, because the main reason, see, the main reason I don't watch Big Brother now is because they always find a way to push the black people out. They always find a way to do it. And I don't even watch the show, and I know that's what they do. But I see people complain about it every single season. I'm like, I don't know what y'all expect. Of course, they're gonna push the black people out. We are the target in real life. Of course, in a house, uh, if you choose a sample of people and you only throw a couple of black people in there, it's just a petri dish of what is actually happening in society. I don't know why anybody would be surprised. Excuse me. I don't know why anybody would be surprised that they push the black people out first, because that is what happens in real life. It's just that on TV, they can't be, the same way it is, in real life. They can't be so explicit about it. They have to do it through microaggressions. They have to do it through, you know, they have to do it through teaming up with one another against the black people. But it is what it is. That's what happens. But back to my original point, I just don't understand why BET won't capitalize on that. Do y'all know that will probably be the biggest shows on y'all TV station? Black people love stuff like that. We just want to see ourselves doing it. We want to see ourselves doing it. We want to see ourselves actually have a chance to be strategic and work together and actually, be able to win the money at the end. We want to see it. We hate having to root for all the black people and they constantly get pushed out. We hate it. And all black version of Big Brother would be solely exactly Black Brother. Ooh, that's what y'all could call it, Black Brother. Big Brother throws POC out first, then older people. I don't even watch the show, but I knew that's what happened. I don't have to watch the show to know. Yes, because yes, BET should have done all that. I want to see black people on my screen all the time, please. Exactly. Instead of coming up with all, like, they'll come up with all these made for TV movies. They'll come up with like all this stuff we don't care to see. You could be investing that money into, even if it's a low budget version, even if it's like a low budget version of these shows. I feel like once you get people watching and that money starts coming in, you can increase the prizes. You can increase, the stakes and everything. But just give us something, because I know black people will watch it. I know it'll blow up. You could even put it on the app. Put it on the app or we need something. I'm sorry, BET is dropping the ball for real. We should have the black version of every single type of reality show on BET at this point. BET is now owned by the same company that owns VH1 and MTV. They put the shows that would be on BET and VH1 on VH1, probably because it would be a larger audience. But see, the thing, and I see what you're saying. I get it. And y'all could even do this on VH1. Y'all could take the same. Okay, so for instance, they could take the same premise that they had from I Love Money, which is basically like the challenge, but it was on VH1 with past cast members from I Love New York, Flavor of Love, and all those shows that we watched. They just took those same characters and put them on a show like that. They could do the exact same thing with like they could do the exact same thing with a show like Love and Hip Hop, Black Ink Crew, you know, those shows. Take some people from those shows and put them all in one house and do like a Big Brother style show, or do another like I Love Money type of show. Lifetime is capitalizing on biopics that BET won't do. Oh my goodness, yes, they could do a Black the Amazing Race. That would be so good. That would be so good. Oh my goodness. It would actually make me watch those type of shows. Oh, Fear Factor. Can you imagine Fear Factor with just Black people? That would be hilarious. Oh my goodness. Black people do love a competition. Like, Black people are very competitive, and you know, Black people tend to be very entertaining just by themselves, but you just give them throw some money out there and have them compete for some money. Child, that would be so entertaining. I'm tired of seeing women. We just see women fight all the time on TV for absolutely, we don't see the purpose behind it other than they're making money on this TV show. Whereas if we saw them fighting this time around, first of all, they would get eliminated for physically fighting, so we wouldn't have to deal with that. And two, they would actually be fighting for money. They wouldn't be fighting over a dude or fighting over some idiotic reason. At least it would be for like money. And then they would have to do like competitions every day. I totally forgot. Bad Girls Club did something like this too, where they had a competition show. They took girls from the past seasons and they put them on a show, and it was like a competition show. Like, why are they dropping the ball on this? I don't get it. I don't get it. And I know BET could do it. I'm tired. Like, okay, we have enough of Tyler Perry shows. If I see one more Tyler Perry show pop up, like, and shout out to Tyler Perry because he does have a lot of people acting. One of my friends is actually on one of his shows. One of my Instagram friends, not my real friend, but one of my Instagram friends is actually a recurring character on one of his shows. So I'm not mad at Tyler Perry for making these shows, but I mean, we could have variety. I haven't seen any BT Plus shows um because a lot of them are Tyler Perry shows. uh yeah, if I win the lottery, me and Pinky are creating a production company. Okay, girl, we could be partners because I have so many ideas. Like, I have so many ideas, and I wouldn't even be mad if someone snatched up one of these ideas and created a show, because we need it. We need it. We need it. But y'all, I stayed on here way longer than I planned to. Way longer, and I went off on a tangent on something totally different that has nothing to do with this. But I'm looking forward to Tyler Perry's new show coming to Showtime about Medea's life. I would have to look, if they actually put some effort into it and didn't let Tyler Perry write it. He actually got some other writers. I might be interested in that, because that does sound like it could be interesting. Because it would be like, well, how did she get like that? Because you don't just wake up and be wanting to shoot people. So how did she get like that? That would be interesting to see, but only if it was well written and well acted out. But y'all, let me go. I meant to be only on here for 30 minutes and it's been an hour. I love these conversations. That's why I like be fighting to get off of here, because I love having a conversation with y'all. It's so fun and entertaining. You guys are like, I love getting here with y'all just as much as y'all like coming in here and mingling and talking with each other. And yeah, I really do love you guys. But I will see you in the next live or the next video. And thank you, Kimberly. Make sure you like the video before you get off of here. And yeah, I'll see you in the next one. Bye.